The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. As Jesus continued his journey to Jerusalem, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voice, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And when he saw them, he said, "Go show yourselves to the priests." As they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. And he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed, were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then he said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." The Gospel of the Lord. Today, on Veterans Day, we celebrate the feast of St. Martin of Tours, who himself was a soldier. So I think it's kind of fitting. Today, on Veterans Day, and also reading the readings, I'm reminded of the Christian virtue of gratitude. In our culture today, I think we suffer from an extreme deficiency of gratitude and a hyper sensitivity or a hyper excess of resentment, which is the lack of gratitude. It's the opposite of gratitude. I think it's kind of sad in our day that we've kind of devoided the meaning of gratitude. I think sometimes when we talk about gratitude, we make it becomes like a platitude, substantialist. You know, we sit around the Thanksgiving table and I'm thankful for the weather outside and thankful for having my parents, and it's just kind of lack of meaning. I think it's important for us to reclaim this virtue of gratitude. And I think it's especially fitting on Veterans Day. For on Veterans Day, it is a celebration of gratitude for those who have offered their lives in service to protect us. And likewise, every good soldier celebrates the virtue of gratitude out of extreme gratitude for what they have been given in their country and for the families they have in their communities. They are willing to even lay down their lives. That is true gratitude, not just some pious platitude we talk about at Thanksgiving. I also think it's significant for us as Christians to have the virtue of gratitude. In the gospel here, we read about these people who were cleansed, and only one of them returned to Jesus to give thanks. And Jesus rebukes the other 9. And I think that as Catholics and as Christians, a lot of times we resonate more with the 9 who didn't return rather than the one Samaritan returned to give thanks. I think sometimes as Christians we live our lives as if we're just trying to avoid punishment. We just want to make sure that God is happy with us. We want to make sure we don't go to hell. The reality of Christianity is that it should be motivated entirely out of gratitude. People speak about coming to Mass and not getting anything out of it. Who cares? You don't come to Mass to get something out of it. You come to Mass to give thanks to your God who is worthy of all of your gratitude, to whom you are indebted everything. We as Christians should foster this virtue of gratitude. Now, I'm reminded of a religious sister I met a few years ago. She was a member of a religious order, and she had been a sister for many, many years, about 50 years. And in her order, after Vatican II, they kind of underwent some confusion and some changes. And she was teaching at a college in Nebraska. And she was one of the only sisters in her order that still wore the religious habit. Most of the sisters no longer wore habits. And so she was kind of like a little bit of an outsider, even in her order. And then she taught at a college in which she was teaching mostly students who were not terribly religious. Right? And yet I was really struck meeting her at the joy that she had. And I asked her one time, I said, "Sister, all these years of being a religious sister and the different confusions and struggles you've had to go through and the difficulties of teaching." And I asked her, what keeps her going? And she said, "Well, every morning in my prayer, I go before Christ in the tabernacle, and I remember the first time that I truly encountered His mercy That first time that I fell in love with Him. That first time that I wanted to give my life to Him in gratitude for all that He had done for me. And that keeps me going. Oh, wow, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that profound? Imagine if all of us Christians took the time every day to pray like that. Jesus, thank you for saving me. Thank you for giving me this wonderful faith. Jesus, thank you for saving me from myself. I owe you everything. It would be a totally different church. We truly lived this virtue of gratitude. True, substantial, meaningful, life-changing gratitude to Christ our Savior.